What's up, guys? It's Yanni from 801 Garage here. How you guys doing today? So, as you guys know, if you've been following the channel, if you saw my walk-around video for my WRX, you'll see that it was just super cracked and all scratched up and just really ugly looking. We finally got it fixed. We got it all back. It's all painted and everything. And I've had a lip for it for forever. That's been sitting in my garage that I really wanted to put on it, but I wanted to wait until it was all painted and done. So now that it's all done, we can finally go ahead and get started on that. Let me show it to you. So here we have the lip. I'm so excited to see how it's going to look with it. So the package came with the lip, and there's some hardware over here, right in there. So we got that getting ready. So now we're going to go ahead and go through all the steps that you have to go through to take off your bumper. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get this guy on there. So on this part of the bumper, you're going to have to take off 3 clips from in here. I'm sorry, 4. So one's right here at the very top. It's a tiny little one. And then we have one right there. 2, 3 of these big ones. So on these big ones right here, let's get a little closer. These are just like the ones that were under the car. So all you gotta do is find a little groove right here. It's gonna have 2, one on top and one on the bottom. And you just kind of get your flathead screwdriver in there. Pop this middle piece out like that, and then go under the whole entire clip, and then just pull it out. Easy as that. Okay. Now that's these 3 right here. Now if we look at this top one up here, it's this tiny little one. What you're gonna have to do is, if you look right in the middle of the clip, there's a little like baby circle in there. Push that in. Okay. Once that's pushed in, then you can just kind of take the clip out. Just like that. Boom. And then to get this little guy back in, what you're going to do is the piece that you pushed out, push it back in. That little piece, push it back in, and then with your screwdriver push it in again so that it's popping out of this side. So once you have it, so it's going to look like that once you push it in, and then you're going to push it in one more time. So you have a little ledge sticking out of the very front of it like that. Okay? So now you're going to take all 4 of those out on both sides of the car, and then we're going to go ahead and take off the bumper.
There was one part where we have to take off the clips on top of the bumper that I recorded, but my recording got messed up. So real quick, there are going to be 4 little clips that you do have to take off on the top. And I just pulled up just a generic picture of the engine bay from the top. And so the 4 clips that you're going to have to take off, and it's going to be the same as the ones in the fender lining, but there's one right here, one right here, one right here, and one right here. So for a total of 4. And then once you take those 4 clips out, then we can go ahead and move on to the next step, which is just taking off the whole entire bumper. But don't forget to take off these 4 up here as well. And then the ones under the car, you're going to have, I think it's 10 clips along the bottom of the fender lining and the shield right there at the bottom of the bumper. Same thing, just quickly pop those out the same way as we did the ones in the fender lining, and then you'll be ready to go ahead and take that off.
So for this next part, we're going to finally take off the whole bumper. If you look under both your headlights and right next to your fender liners, there's a bunch of little clips right there that hold your bumper in. So what you're going to do is you're just going to grab from where the fender lining was at, and just here and pull until all these clips are coming out. Don't be afraid to give it a good yank, because it's not going to hurt anything. But just kind of go until you get the clips out on both sides. And then you're good to go. Now, word of the wise, this is a lot easier with a friend. but I was doing it by myself. Now real quick, if you had fog lights like mine, make sure you unplug them before this happens. Otherwise, you're going to have to start over again. Okay, now let's get to the actual lip. And I just laid the lip on top of it just so I can start getting some ideas on how to do this. Because, to my surprise, it didn't come with instructions. So, what I did is, since these holes back here on the lip look like they lined up with the inside hole of here, I just put the clip in there on both sides to help me hold the lip so that I could get drilling. And now here's the scary part. This is where we start drilling holes. If you look on the lip, there's a bunch of little guys. I already put one in, all the way around, and then there's these 6 big ones. Okay, so my strategy is just going to go from the inside out, basically. I started with this guy right here, and then I'm going to go over here, just because these edges seem to fit really well, and then I can line up the rest of this. Okay, so let's get drilling, and I'll show you guys if I come short on any of this. Wish me luck. This particularly hurts because I just got this painted, so we're gonna see how this goes. All the top screws in, maybe if it'll show them. So all those ones are in. Now I just have these 3 left, but here's my dilemma. So it's only given me 2 of these big ass screws with the washers and the nuts, and then for the other 2 holes I have these normal little ones. So I think what I'm gonna do is use the big one on this one and then the little ones over here. These ones went in all pretty easy, and the fitment is relatively good. The only one that kind of had an issue was this one over here. These ones right here on the very ends, on both of them, were the only ones that kind of gave me a little bit of trouble, just because this stuck out so far that I kind of had to go in at an angle, and so it didn't sit flush like these ones. And so when these ones sat flush, it pushed the bumper perfectly together. These ones not so much, just because since they went in at an angle, it still kind of leaves a little bit of a gap. So I'm gonna kind of see what I can do about that. All right, so let's go ahead and start drilling. For these big ones, it's going to be a little bit different, because these little ones are self-tapping screws, so you don't have to drill a pilot hole. It's usually still recommended that you drill a pilot hole, but you don't have to, just because they have the little tip on them that kind of guides the screw down. On these big ones, you don't have that same luxury. It's the flat bottoms, and so you kind of just got to drill a big old giant hole first. With this puppy, and then go screw, since this metal's already right here, so you can go screw, and then on the bottom you go washer and then nut. So we're gonna go ahead and drill that hole out and then get that screw in. I ended up using a 1/4-inch drill bit to get a hole big enough to get it in there, and then under it you got the nut and the washer. Now what I'm going to do to go ahead and get that nice and tight, the nut is a 10mm, so I'm just going to hold the bottom with a 10mm, and then at the top with the drill go ahead and get that tightened down, and then we're going to go ahead and see how that works. And then we just got the 2 left over right there with the little ones, and then mirror on the other side, and we're all done, and we can start putting our poor car back together. Alright guys, let's go ahead and check it out. Only got all the screws in. Let me show you. So I did the big one right there, and then little ones on all the other ones. Whoa, I almost fell over. And again, big one right there, and 2 little ones on the edges. I also broke a clip. Remember how I was telling you guys to be super careful, and then I broke one. So I'm going to be stopping by Subaru and going to grab some. But again, I didn't really run into any issues, nothing huge. The only thing was this screw right here. I was having a really hard time getting it through up here, and then getting it to line up with the hole so that I could screw it in. But that was, if that's your biggest problem when installing something, then you're doing alright. That, and I didn't realize this grass was all damp, so I was sitting it the whole time and my pants were all wet. Other than that, everything went okay. So let me go ahead and get the bumper back on the car, and then we'll show you guys what it looks like when it's on there. Drum roll, please. Oh, check that out. It looks so good. Let me get a little bit more sun in there. Oh, that lip looks so beautiful. I love it. I think it looks so good. And remember, guys, to put the bumper back on, just everything we did in reverse order. So with this light, it's kind of hard to see. There we go. It's a little bit easier to see on the side. But and it tucks up a little bit right there. Oh, it looks so good. Let's get a quick shot here. Yeah, I love it. I'm super happy with the finished product. Now, if you guys had fog lights, remember, don't forget to plug those back in, and then you guys should be good to go. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Once more, this is Yanni from 801 Garage. If you like what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next video.